It's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, I want to take a look at another new defensive formation that was added to the game. It's called Dime 2-3 Single Mug. We're going to take a look at a blitz setup that's going to bring some pressure on the quarterback from the edge with only a three-man pass rush. The name of the play that we use for this video breakdown is the Dime 2-3 Single Mug DB Blitz Text 3. Here a look at the playbooks you can find this play out of. Before I actually show the blitz setup out the Dime 2-3 Single Mug DB Blitz Text 3, let's take a look at the default pass coverages and pass rush assignments. Now, as you can imagine by the play title, DB Blitz Text 3, you have a defensive back that's blitzing, you have the Texas stunt or tech stunt, and you also have three deep coverage. Let's take a look at that first here as far as the three deep coverage. So as you look at it, you got these three defenders that are playing three deep as you look at your screen. Then you got a couple defenders that are actually going to be playing the seam flats, which is typical in a lot of these cover three defenses. You can see those are the guys right there. And then you have one other defender here who's going to be dropping back into the three receiver hook, and that's going to end up being this defender right here as you look at your screen right there. So those are your three defenders here. Now, what I can tell you with this particular defense, especially against this particular formation, this gun bunch tight end, X spot, you're probably not going to get any type of pressure on the quarterback unless one of those guys break free. Now, there's some things you can do to create some pressure, and that's what I want to show you here. Matter of fact, we can get this down to a three-man pass rush. All right, I'm going to take a look at a couple blitz setups that you can run out of the Dime 2-3 Single Mug DB Blitz Text 3. Now, this first one I'm going to show here is real basic. It doesn't really require a whole lot. The only thing you really need to do here is to press right on the D-pad and then hit Show Blitz. And then what that's going to do is it's going to put that linebacker head up over the center. Now, this all depends on what formation they come out. In a gun bunch tight end, you would have to do that, or you can manually move them over. In some of the other formations, you may not have to do that. It all depends. So if you see him lined up over there on the left, and he's not hit up over the center, make sure you do Show Blitz, either with the linebacker or do it globally. Here, once you get over here at this point, you can hot route him to blitz, take control of him, which I just did there. And then we're just going to simply do this, and we should end up getting some type of edge pressure. Now, that doesn't always work that way, but that's what you're looking for right there. That's probably the most easiest setup. So again, you can press this, do this, take control of them, hot route them to blitz, do something like that. And then you're just hoping you're going to get some edge pressure, such as you see on your screen. So that's probably the easiest setup right there you can do as far as getting to the quarterback. Now, what I want to show you is how to make this a lot more effective by not rushing so many rushers. All right, this time I want to show you how to get a three-man pass rush here out of Dime 2-3 Single Mug DB Blitz Text 3. Now, there's a couple ways of doing this one. I'm going to show you two different ways. They're basically the same thing, except for one other adjustment you may have to make. Now, as I pointed out earlier, depending on what formation they come in, you got to get that middle linebacker over where he's head up over the center. So what I recommend here is doing this. Now, again, I know some of you guys may not want to do this, and I understand that, but for me to get this to work, this is the way it works. So you want to hit Show Blitz. It's going to bring those defensive backs over. It's also, or down closer to the line of scrimmage. It's also going to move that middle linebacker head up over the center. Now, again, you can manually move them if you so choose. Next thing you want to do is call QB Contain. So there's your setup so far. Now, to get this down to a three-man pass rush, you're going to take control of this defensive tackle. You're going to put him into a bluff blitz. So look at him right there. He's in the bluff blitz now. And then this guy right here, what you want to do is you want to put him into a hard flat. So you can see the setup so far. Next, you want to switch back over to this middle linebacker, the one that's head up over the center. And what you're going to do is you're just manually going to take control of them and drop them back and then kind of defend whatever comes over the short middle of the field. Now, I can't always guarantee this guy's going to come off the edge here. This is the one you're looking for. Sometimes he may run into somebody, one of those receivers, especially out of this gun bunch tight end. Just keep that in mind. But a lot of times he will get pressure on the quarterback. Let's go ahead and run this. And then right there, you'll see he comes off the edge and he gets the pressure on the quarterback. So I just wanted to show that to you. So that's pretty much the simple way of doing this without having to make one more pre-snap adjustment. Let's take a look at the other pre-snap adjustment you would have to do. This next blitz setup I'm about to show out, the Dime 2-3 Single Mug DB Blitz Text 3, is basically the same blitz setup I just showed as far as getting a three-man pass rush. You're just adding another hot route adjustment, and I'll show you how to do it here as we go through this. So it's the same thing as before. Show Blitz, call QB Contain. Okay, there you go right there. There's the setup so far. Next thing you want to do is basically you want to blitz all, which is going to be this linebacker here. If you look at it now, hopefully he'll blitz. There he goes. Now you see him blitzing right there. The one that I just told you right here, you don't have to take control of this guy, but it's that guy right there, the one that I'm actually moving over right there as you look at your screen. So let's move him back over where he belongs. And so he's head up over the center right there as you look at it. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to switch off to this defender here, which is that defensive tackle. Put this guy into the hard flat. Now, the reason that you want to blitz this guy is to assure that it's going to occupy that center. You don't want that center switching off to somebody else, and then it causes that outside guy to get blocked. That's another reason you want to do this, but you don't have to. Remember, I just showed it to you where you don't have to do that, where you could just have them drop them back in the 3 receiver hook and manually be in control of them. And right there, we're going to get that pressure coming off the edge. So that's another way of running that one. I just want to point that out to you. So again, you guys can do it 2 different ways, as I pointed out earlier. You can go ahead and show blitz, call QB contain, take control of this guy right here, put him into a bluff blitz, this guy right here into the hard flat, switch back over to that linebacker right there, and simply just drop him back. And you should still get some type of pass rush on the quarterback there. Right there, we didn't get it. If you're having issues getting the pass rush because he's running into guys, the other option would be to do show blitz, call QB contain, blitz all, and then you want to take control of this guy right here, put him into the 3 receiver hook, this guy into a hard flat, and switch back over to this guy right here. And then that should get you the pressure on the quarterback from the outside. Okay, so those are the 2 ways you can run that one and be pretty consistent. I do want to take a look at one more formation real quick on the offensive side so I can show you what I mean as far as with that linebacker. All right, this time the offense comes out in the gun bunch X nasty mesh spot. Now, this particular play in the formation, you'll notice where this linebacker now lines up at. He lines up over the center. However, to make this one work, you still want to use the show blitz, but let's run it without making any pre-snap adjustments, and let's just run it as is. And right there, you can see right there, we still get the pressure on the quarterback, which is nice without having to make any pre-snap adjustments. However, if you want to get that other pressure I was showing, where you want to get just a 3-man pass rush, then you kind of want to set it up the same way. You want to go ahead and show blitz, call QB contain, and then what you're going to do is you're going to blitz all, and then you're going to switch over to this guy right here. You're going to put him into a bluff blitz, put this guy into a hard flat, and then you're going to switch back over to this guy here. Now, the thing about this one is that you're going to need to try to disengage from the center once the ball snaps. Let's look at this right here. So you're going to try to disengage. You notice what I was doing there. I was trying to hit that A button and try to drop him back, which I did eventually get off there, and I still ended up getting that 3-man pass rush. And that's how you would set that up there if you look at it. So again, it's the same setup I showed earlier. Show blitz, call QB contain right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put this guy into a bluff blitz, into a hard flat as you look at your screen right there. Switch back over to this guy here. Now, you could try to do this, which is when I got him right now. I'm just going to allow him to do his thing right there. But you notice we're not going to get that same pressure on a quarterback. So in the other one, we were able to get it, but this time we can't get that. So that's why you got to have him blitzing to make sure it works. So one more time, let's do it one last time here. So again, we're going to show blitz, call QB contain, blitz all, take control of this guy right here, put him into a bluff blitz, switch over to this guy right here, put him into a hard flat, and do this right here. So honestly, probably the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and put that linebacker head up over the center into a blitz just to make sure this thing works. And then once the ball is snapped, you just simply try to get off the block and then drop back. And here right there, you can see you get a 3-man pass rush. From the all 22 and instant replay, we can get a better idea of how the X and O's of this particular play works as far as this blitz setup. And the most important thing I can tell you is you want to make sure that this guy right here, this linebacker, is head up over the center. So rather you have to do show blitz to get that guy over there. It depends on what the formation is, or you have to manually move him over. But make sure you get him over in that area there where he's head up over the center. Now, to get that 3-man pass rush, which I talked about earlier, you just had to make a couple pre-snap adjustments. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you blitz this guy right here, which I did earlier as you looked at it. So we went ahead and blitzed him just to make sure he engages the center. And then next to him, you're going to have this guy right here, which is going to be this defensive tackle. And now the reason we put him into a bluff blitz is obviously we want to drop him back into that 3 receiver hook to replace the linebacker that's blitzing. Plus, it also helps with the blitz because at least it occupies the right guard for a split second and it allows us to get this blitz to work. Thirdly, you got to make sure you put this guy. You don't have to put this guy into. You can have a 4-man pass rush, I suppose. It wouldn't mess up the blitz, but you might as well do a 3-man if you can get it. So this guy here, we're going to put into a flat. So there's what you look like there as far as that coverage is and what that looks like as you look at your screen. And then obviously one other thing that we did is we put this guy in QB contain. Not only did we call show blitz, but we also put this guy in QB contains because what we're looking for here is to get edge pressure coming off the edge so he can come after the quarterback. And then we're just going to have, as you look at it, we're just going to have these 3 guys that are going to actually be rushing the quarterback. Because this defender right here, the one that we blitzed earlier, the one that's set up over the center, we're going to allow him to engage the center. And then what we need to do is we need to peel off by hitting the A button or X button and drop him back into coverage. So that's really the setup right there as you look at it. So as he goes in right there, you can see that we get that outside pressure coming from the outside right there. As you look at it, you can see that this defensive back is now going to be applying the pressure to the quarterback. The coverages at this point are pretty decent. Of course, they could throw a quick pass over here to the right. You know, your opponent could throw somebody, hit him coming out on that wheel route coming out of the backfield. Obviously, there might be some stuff underneath where they can make some throws to, but the coverage is pretty good against this particular formation here that I'm showing, this gun bunch X nasty. So I just want to point that all out to you. You guys can see right there, the coverage is pretty good, and then we end up getting a sack on the quarterback. So not too bad for a defense that went from, what, a 5-man pass rush down to just a 3-man pass rush. All right, that wraps up everything as far as showing this particular blitz out of the new formation called Dime 2-3 Single Mug. And the name of the play we use here is called DB Blitz Text 3. Now, I have to be honest with you, I haven't found a whole lot of heat coming from this formation yet. I just started messing around early this morning, and this is one of the defenses that I found that I thought did a pretty good job, especially when you can get it down to a 3-man pass rush. However, I'm going to keep looking at it and see if I can break down a few other type of plays from this particular formation and see what kind of heat we can get it. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the Madden Guys YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you do. If not, that's fine, but make sure you guys leave a comment if you can. Give it a thumbs up as far as the video. At least do that for me. I appreciate that. So again, guys, thanks for watching this video breakdown. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Madden Guides, strategy, and tips content. See you in the next video.